All right. So in the previous video, I was talking about libertarians and people like Joel Salatin, who are promoting more of a traditional. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and say a traditional way of handling grasslands and and that type of thing, where you let goats and chickens and cows come through and eat the grass and everything else like that instead of just mowing it down as we've been taught to do, because it makes more money for corporations. That's the whole thing. If you think that I can't think of the big lawn mowing companies, but that's the way capitalism works, right? The other side of the coin, I think of the ironic thing, of course, is that they sell a lot of those goats for meat, this and that. The other side of the coin is 3D printing. Now, 3D printing can be everything from firearms all the way to, meats and so many other aspects. 3D printing is going to be a huge, at least in my view anyway, people will probably disagree. 3D printing is going to be a huge boom market, because people are going to say, plastics. And it's basically what it is. It's simply the evolution of plastics. So from plastic bags and plastic containers, now we're going to have 3D printed firearms, become more of an issue because, of course, once again, libertarians are, some of the founders of that. We have people that are 3D printing, AK-47s and this and that. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, but, this is just how folks are, They're going to defend what they want to defend. So, yeah, you're going to see them carrying straps. People are going to stay strapped up. And, the idea of 3D printing meat versus, buying meat at the grocery store, that's going to be a lot of difference, Now, of course, what will this lead to? How do we balance it out? I think that the part of the problem is that there's a lot of ideas and it's just like, well, let's try everything. And it's just like, you can't do that. Like I say, I'm going to be one of these cringe folks as well. I support the idea of nuclear power. I know people are going to say, but what about Fukushima? What about this and that? And of course, when people want to talk about windmills, it's like, well, produce the windmills and fly them out there. Oh, that's just a one-time thing. That's just a one-time thing. But I like the idea of nuclear power better. I'll be honest with you. I know people are going to say, a 3 Mile Island and, people, Fukushima or Chernobyl. They're going to say, oh, it's like, well, what about all the, the safety concerns? About all the safety measures that they have. No, wind power is better. Wind power is better. Why? You're displacing, thousands of different species and everything else like that. People that have to go up there and service those things. I don't care. And the fact that, when you have, these electric panels, or the solar panels, then they're pretty much just like a battery. You have all these rare earth metals, which are very corrosive and very deadly if they went into, they just were put on the bare ground. I don't care. I like solar power better. I imagine that there are people like that. To me, nuclear is the way to go. I don't care. You can do solar all you want to, but it's like, if you can contain it and you can put it in the, and you can put it, you are a tough kid. My cat is pushing her way. Yep, there you go. All right. I try to keep the door closed so I can have it quieter in here, but oh well. She's a tough one. Anyway. So I think that, like I said, this is kind of a continuation of that rant. I do think 3D printing will make a difference. It depends on where everything's going, how much funding, how much people are willing to use it, this and that. The thing is that there are much more vegan options that are coming out. Burger King has, is kind of leading the way with that, with the Impossible Burger and whatnot. Of course, people make jokes that, it turns you into, transgender. But that's where we're headed. That's where society is headed. And I think that people say we only have 10 years left and all this, and it's typical of the far left in general, is that they'll say, well, we could have let it, we could have made it better. You didn't have any power though. And they don't. Capitalism has already co-opted these ideas, and they will just make everybody do it instead. This is the way it works. So instead of people having, hamburgers all day and whatnot, now we're going to have, the soy burgers and whatnot, or, soybean, drinks and whatnot. So it's like, well, there you go. That's where we're headed. So in terms of that, now, of course, are they going to stop the smokestacks and all the pollution? It's a whole different thing. Now, of course, it's interesting with vegans and, other environmental folks would be like, well, look at all the CO2 that cows produce or whatnot. And it's like, okay, well, should we kill them all? Well, no, we don't want to do that. But, then what do you do? They don't really have an answer. So, I don't know. Like I say, it's a complicated thing. Just like the other video. But I think that will lead me into my next video, which is basically going to say how to control your anger. And that's something I need to work on. I think it's something we all need to work on a little bit. I'm not going to get too new agey and whatnot, but I think it's important to do. I'm going to make it a very, very, very specific thing. It's going to be just basically about online, how you deal with it. So, yeah. Hopefully y'all stick around for that one, and see you later. Goodbye.